Why does Plato reject the idea that knowledge can be defined as true judgment with an account? Are his arguments convincing? This is my first year essay for critical reasoning in philosophy, semester 1. Firstly, a disclaimer. Don't copy this work because it will get flagged for plagiarism. This work has been submitted to Newcastle University in my first year, so it's not amazing and it's definitely not perfect. This is part of a video series that I'm currently doing where I read out my essays and talk about the grade I got on them, so you can see where I went wrong and then hopefully learn from my mistakes. Before I start, the grade I got for this essay was a low 2-2, 51%. Plato rejects the idea that knowledge can be defined as true judgment with an account. This has been debated throughout his Theaetetus text and will be evaluated here. Plato describes true judgment to be when the soul thinks is simply carrying on a discussion in which it asks itself questions and answers them itself, affirms and denies. This is a thought process everyone has when evaluating anything in someone's day-to-day life, and when it arrives at something definite, then it is a true judgment. Here he is explaining what judgment is in his terms. It is a debate everyone has within themselves, which can then be affirmed or denied based on evidence provided or feelings that the person has about the situation they are debating. Through exploring the text of Theaetetus, the statement Plato rejects will be challenged against the arguments from circularity, infinite regression, and lucky guesses. Opening. Plato hinders the statement that knowledge can be defined as true judgment with an account by using his argument from circularity. By stating that someone may have a form of knowledge on a subject based on the conclusion of that subject makes the knowledge invaluable, as it has not been credited by another source. Christianity is a prime example of this, as it is known that many Christians have the primary belief that a God of some description exists, and that he has spread the literal word to his disciples to write down. Most would claim to have this belief because it has been stated within the Bible. However, there is no evidence supporting this sole account. To say that it is a true judgment to know that the Bible is the literal word of God because it says so in the Bible provides a great risk of circularity, as the conclusion in the statement has already been assumed within the premise, and so in consequence, the argument circles in an eternal loop, making it impossible to ever verify. This demonstrates that the definition can be incorrect if the account is incorrect to begin with. The second challenge Plato examines is how someone has the ability to distinguish between true judgment and a successful deduction. This can best be described using an example. A woman is in a jewellery store, and laid out in front of her are 10 rings, all with diamonds in the centre. The woman, nonetheless, is unaware that 9 of the 10 rings contain fake diamonds, as she has been led to believe that all 10 rings are authentic. Regardless of this fact, her knowledge is still considered to be true judgment, even without knowing that the correct answer, because she has made the debate in her mind, and chosen which ring she prefers. When choosing the ring, the woman selects the only ring with the real diamond. Ergo, it would appear that her judgment was true, and that the definition of knowledge given would be correct. This is still insufficient for Plato, though, as the woman may have chosen the correct ring. However, it cannot be certain whether the woman made her decision using her knowledge in diamonds, or whether it was simply a lucky guess. On the other hand, the definition of knowledge does state that the judgment must have an account or logos, which is that justifies a person's beliefs. This can be a judgment in speech, a list of elements of which an elaborate thing is composed of, or as the condition of a sign, which distinguishes a thing from other things. So accordingly, for knowledge to be a justified belief, it must have the necessary conditions as stated prior. The woman for this reason believes that the ring has real diamonds. She has then chosen the ring with real diamonds, and therefore her belief seems justified. The third rejection Plato makes against the definition of knowledge is the theory of infinite regression. Infinite regression is a term in which a series of propositions arises if the truth of proposition P1 requires the support of proposition P2, the truth of proposition P2 requires the support of proposition P3, and so on ad infinitum. The account relies on a collection of different elements which create the overall belief. An example Bertrand Russell used can accurately describe this event. At the end of one of his lectures, an old lady from the back of the room stood up and claimed that the earth was a flat plate supported on the back of a giant tortoise. When questioned about what the tortoise was supported by, she claimed that it was supported by a chain of never-ending tortoises. However, here arises the problem of infinite regression. She has just created an eternal stack of tortoises to which there is no end. Plato asserts that in the same way as the elements themselves are woven together and become an account of something, an account being essentially a complex of names. A complex account is a mix of multiple elements which are interlinked. This is then verified or denied based on the person's chain of reasoning, which concludes whether their original thought was correct or false. This issue presented of infinite regression can be avoided in two ways. One is that some people have necessary beliefs that they don't feel the need to justify regardless of the truth being unknowable. This can often be observed in religion, as religious people have no evidence to support their belief in a deity, yet they choose to have faith in them anyway. Or the second could be that it is possible to be viewed that the elements are undeniable, and if that is the case, then there is no need for an account for them. An example of this could be the understanding of how the universe was created. It may be known as a brute fact. Even when escaping infinite regression in this way, though, if knowledge is true judgment with an account, and an account consists of a list of elements in which the elements have no account, then the elements are unable to become objects of knowledge. They become simple subjective opinion. In conclusion, Plato's Theaetetus has argued that knowledge cannot be defined as true judgment with an account, as it is incoherent and leads to difficulties such as infinite regression, circularity, or inability to distinguish between real knowledge and lucky guesses. Plato has rejected the concept as he was unable to produce a decent definition of justification which didn't then lead to one of these multiple issues. Concluding Plato's Theaetetus, the readers are left to assume the following options: that their beliefs are unsupported by other beliefs, their beliefs are supported by an infinite chain of beliefs, their beliefs are supported by a circular chain of beliefs, or that some beliefs are not supported by other beliefs, but never will our beliefs justify completely accurate knowledge. So now we talk about the grading. I got 51% for this essay, which is a low 2-2. Do I think that that was accurate? Yes, I do. At the time, I probably didn't, but now I definitely do think that that's an accurate grade. It displays a very basic knowledge of what the question is asking. I am answering the question, but it's very difficult to actually understand the words that I've used in the essay because I haven't explained very well. I've used very long, elaborate sentences that I wouldn't usually say if I was standing up and making a speech. I found it very difficult to read out the essay, let alone if somebody else was reading the essay. I'm sure that you guys probably found it quite difficult to understand. I mean, I found it difficult and I wrote the essay, so I do understand why I got such a low mark on this essay in particular. And now I can learn from that and I can improve my other essays by not making the same mistakes. So please tell me what you think in the comments below. Do you think that this was a fair grade? Do you think that there are other errors that I need to address in this essay that would perhaps make my grades better in the future and make other people's grades better in the future learning from this? What do you guys think? Tell me below. Also, please leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Also, please tell me if you want to continue this series, if you're enjoying this series. And also, please subscribe if you want to hear more philosophy. And I will see you in the next one, guys. Thank you. Bye.